Good morning, bear. His face is so huge.
Like
Oh, window.
Like a boy.
Everyone give it up for America's favorite right and rage man. Lafayette, I'm taking this horse by the reins, taking red coats, winter with blood sprays. Lafayette, I'm never gonna stop until I can drop a red on up, it's gotta remain down. Hamilton, so he knows what to do in the trench. Did you know what they're doing in the bench? I mean, still you're gonna have to use him eventually. What's he gonna do in the bench? I mean, between all the bleeding and fighting, I've been reading and writing.
I'm burning your memories, burning your letters that might have redeemed you. Oh, and I hear you calling on my way back to Georgia.
Welcome to Georgia.
Oh, I brought my extra sunglasses. Shoot, I forgot to leave these in the car. Well, if you need sunglasses, let me know. Okay, we're back on the road again. Okay, we just came from down there. Not very far, but we're getting all the adjustments made. And we're headed 1 mile straight up to then do 6 miles straight up. So, yeah. How do you feel?
Super terrible.
All right, we weighed our packs at top of Georgia. I got 35 pounds. What do you got? 45. Yeah, so we're a lot heavier than last summer. Well, actually, we're as heavy as we were.
We're also at a max carry though.
I'm at a max carry. Well, we're both at max carries, but I'm like literally at the absolute max carry of what a Z-Packs Art Blast can do. I was only supposed to put like 34 pounds on this thing. I'm just gonna drink some water and then eat a lot of food. That's my plan. God, it's nice out. Oh my gosh. Look at this. We get views this year. Oh my goodness. All right. I wonder what the temp is. It feels like mid-50s.
It feels hotter than mid-50s. It feels like we're in the low 60s.
It's beautiful.
Yeah.
Hope it stays like
I'm
this.
already stripping off clothes and I regret not having a short sleeve shirt. My hike and my bra later.
Go on with your bad self.
Okay.
Okay, wave, Rachel.
Give me a second.
Oh,
I'm trying to make this as difficult as humanly possible.
There's gotta be an easier way. See, there's space right next to you. We can put it back there.
That's okay. I just gotta get my leg in. Oh. There we go. I made it. Can you shift? It's as far back as it goes. It's fine.
Here we go.
Is it really?
Yeah.
Bye, Matt. Thank you. Oh, we just worked so hard to get up this hill. We hiked maybe a quarter mile. And then our new friend Matt, our first hitch ever, 4x4 up the crazy 4x4 road. It was so bouncy I couldn't take any video, but we made it back to the Appalachian Trail. Oh my gosh. In record time. Record time. I think we just did 1 mile in about 12 minutes. That's faster than I can run.
got to bring the Dollar General store with you. In case I need anything, I'm gonna come over and say, hey, excuse me.
So it's getting colder. Hi, so we're currently climbing up Courthouse Bald.
It's not good.
It's not my favorite. It's like the new Sassafras Mountain of 2019. It's kicking our butt. All right, so at 3:20 p.m. when we were at the Georgia border, we had t-shirts on and it was 66 degrees out. At 4:20, we started layering up again. It had probably dropped, what, 10, 15 degrees
Yeah.
in an hour.
Fair.
And so we're staying warm, but look at this gorgeous view. Oh my gosh. It's so nice. Okay, so we're gonna go find some water and camp, stealth camp.
Woo.
Yeah, make some
No
hot
shelters
food.
for us.
No shelters. Tent cities this year. Oh my gosh. Okay. So anyway, hope you guys have a great night. The thru hikers said that this is the first day that they had seen bugs.
We brought the Florida sunshine and the Florida bugs. You're welcome.
Yeah. First day of bugs on the trail this year. So we're coming down the ridge from Courthouse Bald, and it's almost magic hour, and the views are just unreal. Okay, we're gonna try to find a stealth camping spot near water. It's a tall order. It's so cold. I don't even think my video camera is recording. Yeah. Okay, so we made it to Muskrat Shelter with like at least 50 other people tenting. And it was a killer day. Our backs are so heavy. We had dinner. Sort of. So I went to make my miso soup like I usually do. And the bin on my stove must have been busted. Good morning. It's Monday. We're starting out.
Hey.
It's really overcast today. You see that? But there's this bridge over here. I don't know if you can see it. It's really pretty. There's the road that we're headed down to. Okay, we got 1 mile left to go down, although it's drizzling again. It's been raining kind of on off all day. This is the first time we had to get our gear out, so yeah, that's fun. Okay, let's do this rapid descent in the wet conditions, in the rain, without our trekking poles because they're away so that we can carry our umbrellas. Okay. So we're coming down into Deep Gap where we have a shuttle waiting, and we're gonna head into town and hopefully go to Daniel's Steakhouse for lunch like we did last summer. That place is awesome. It's the Gone with the Wind themed restaurant. They had a buffet of food and we'll get dry. We can't stay at Gooders. The Gooders hostel is full tonight, and we're thinking Top of Georgia will also be full because there's some bad weather coming in and people are preparing. So anyway, we'll probably stay at a hotel or a motel, and then maybe do one more day hike tomorrow. Just like where we can flip-flop the cars easily, and then we'll pick this up again. All right, but here we go. I see a car down there, yay. Hopefully that's a car for us. Okay, bye.
So we just did like what, a mile down? And it was a lot of rock scrambling, and it was wet rock. So it was a lot more challenging than I thought it would be.
And it was actually raining like a good clip, and I was not using my umbrella because I was like, I need my trekking poles. I need my trekking poles.
Sure.
So we got damp.
Damp. That's a nice way of saying it.
/ wet. But at least we're heading out to town now, so it doesn't like really matter if we get wet or not. Oh yeah, how's the hair? Oh yeah, so fabulous.
Would you like some peanut butter chocolate?
Heck yeah. Okay, we gotta go. Bye. We made it to the car. Yay! We just had a ride with Jim Granado, and he is a local who shuttles hikers up to precarious places to get to. And he came up this 9-mile dirt road to pick us up out of this little tiny gap. And the road just opened 3 days ago, so we got really lucky with that. And he regaled us with the most delightful stories about mining for diamonds in the river that we were driving past.
Rubies.
And rubies and
Garnets.
sapphires with his daughters, and now they do it with their granddaughters. And then yeah, we just had a really fun time listening to his stories about his service and the Air Force, and then also in Europe. So we're headed into Hiawassee to go to Daniel's and eat all the food and pick up Rachel's car and then figure out what we're doing. Okay. Good morning, day 3. All right, so we're headed up a little day hike 5.5 miles from Wayah Gap to Winding Stair, where we have Rachel's car, and we're slack packing. Tiny pack, clean clothes. Super happy that we're slack packing. So I left my water filter in the car, but at least we have Aquamarine drops. So redundancy is important, y'all. Rachel wins Survivalist of the Year. Yay! So we decided to hike up Siler Bald, which goes up over here behind us. This is just stunningly beautiful. And then you can see the hikers' packs are down there. I think they're blowing charges. We keep hearing rock slides. They're blowing charges. Does that sound like rock sliding?
That's what we were trying to figure out. If it was either somebody having fun with their automatic rifle or...
Oh.
That was their laundry machine was broken. Oh, wow. And they weren't, I don't know, they're...
Well, how would it express?
I heard fall.
So we sat down for a very delicious lunch of Pop-Tarts, a Luna bar, and a honey stick. Yeah, that was awesome. Rachel had some chocolate. What'd you eat? Tuna? Crackers. You had healthy things. Not me. Okay. And then we got really cold because you cool down. Like, this is the view down into the valley. It's so pretty. Okay, so we're headed out to Winding Stair Gap. Siler Bald was my favorite so far. Was Siler Bald your favorite view?
I really loved Wood Mountain. Like, I don't know. The view here was, yes, my favorite. Well, actually, I really enjoyed the view at Rattlesnake Ledge. I don't know what that's actually called. But the place where I was like, hey, did you check for snakes? And they were like, oh, yeah, sure.
Oh.
And then there was a rattlesnake.
Oh, yeah, that was... I'll add it in on the video. I remember exactly what that spot was. And then it was like 2.5 miles rolling out to Dix Creek Gap. Mm-hmm.
It was an optional part. It wasn't actually on trail. We had to go up a little bit.
Yeah.
We got our trail
That was fun.
from Honey
That was
and
fun.
Moon.
Yeah. Okay, onward.
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 And up.
Well, it was quiet.
That bird is mocking me.
Got a little drizzle coming, so we're prepared. We thought it was gonna rain all afternoon, so we got lucky that we had 2 extra hours of not rain. So, what can you do? Okay, onward. Rachel, the scientist, found the woodpecker holes. They go all the way up this tree. Okay, so here's something new. You want to tell the people what's happening?
I'm fixing my rain skirt. It's currently hailing outside. Go figure.
Yeah, I felt the piece of ice in my hand. It's also raining too, but like some hail. I think it's a fun part of the adventure, but I can see people back home being like, no, that sounds not fun.
Depends how hard it hails.
Please don't wreck my umbrella. Okay, onward. There's the hail on Rachel's pack. Do you see it? Oh, it's like hitting her shoulder. We're hiking in the hail, just hiking in the hail. Oh, birds! Sherry, 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 what are those? Sherry. Sherry, they were like a light brown / gray. There was like 6 of them together. Tell us what those were. There it goes, there it goes. This gets sad when I have to leave the mountains, so I'm trying to appreciate every moment of the mountains right now, especially the air. Oh, the air is so good. We just don't have that in the swamp. And the water, oh, the water tastes so good. Here's what I'm looking at. This is the flattest trail I've ever seen. So nice. Especially after the last couple days. Whew, we had some rugged hikes. Rugged climbs. We did it! So, this is the last of our hike for spring break. The snow's coming. We don't want any part of that. So we will see you guys next summer. Hopefully. We're still hiking?
Maybe.
Yeah. We'll lean in towards hiking. And we'll get back to here eventually, after that like 4 or 5 day carry that we skipped. So, okay. Bye!
Welcome to the after show. This is a much after show because we're shooting it like a month after we went hiking.
It took us that long to recover.
We'll do our best to remember all of the fun things. So this year we both drove, and we both drove to the trail, which is different because last year my mom dropped us off. So we had to drive one car to
Winding Stair Gap.
Winding Stair Gap, and then we parked the other one at Top of Georgia Hostel, and then had the Top of Georgia drove us to.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, we had a shuttle.
We got a shuttle to the same place where we left the trail last year, which is like a mile and a half down a horrible, like, pitted out, rocky, ravine-like road.
I literally
From
said
the
to
trail.
Rachel last year, I said, we are never hiking this road again.
We'd planned to do a southbound hike, so we never had to hike up it because it was
Right.
not a fun hike. And then we ended up deciding that was the best place to come in because getting there and finding parking there, and there's nothing there, and there's no parking available, so it's really, you have to get a shuttle ride of some sort,
Up there,
or else hitchhike.
I forgot that actually on that shuttle, I read The Art of War
You
to
did.
the driver.
She-
The driver handed me a book and said, "Here, read this."
I was definitely not listening.
That's,
I was just focused
Art
on
of War.
not throwing up as they drove through the mountains. So we get there and we start hiking up, and it's crazily warm outside. Like, we looked up the predicted temperatures, and every day was pretty much like high in the 50s, low anywhere from the low 40s to the 20s. And we get out and it's like 65. like it felt like Florida weather. It was like essentially the same temperature as when we left. And so immediately I'm like filled with regret because I had no short sleeve t-shirts with me at that time. Although we picked some up later after we went back to the car. So I'm like rolling up my sleeves, trying to like figure out a way to hike and be like comfortable. And then we actually both wore sunglasses, and that was a first because last summer, even though we hiked in full summer, there was full greenery everywhere.
And you didn't need them.
You didn't need sunglasses. It was shaded everywhere. We were in bright sunlight. I also didn't have sunscreen, so I'm pretty sure I got a little bit sunburned on that first day.
We did.
So-
We got more sunburned and more sunlight in the spring break week than we did at any point last summer, even when it was 80 degrees out. Yeah.
So note to self, winter hiking requires sunscreen and sunglasses. Summer's hiking does not.
So we were hiking up the trail about a quarter mile, and as you saw, we heard a cowboy. That's the local term for the people that take a SUV out joyriding on mountain roads. So we met a cowboy named Matt, and he took us up that trail. That was really fun. That was our first hitch ever. And
Aimee actually stuck her thumb out and
I
we
did.
legit hitchhiked.
We did.
He stopped and he was very incredulous. He was like, "Isn't the point of you guys wearing backpacks that you're out here to actually hike?" And we were like, "Not till we get to the trail."
He shamed us a little bit. So we start hiking, and probably the best part for me right away was that we kept running into thru hikers. We've never run into thru hikers really. We'd only met 3 last year, or either doing a lash or doing a thru hike. We met 2 thru hikers. One was an attempted thru hiker, Wild Rover, and the other was Calamity Jane, who was actually hiking SOBO, and she made it to Springer. So congratulations, Calamity Jane. That's an update on you. So we got to meet a lot of thru hikers, and I kept asking them for their names. I'm like, "What's your trail name? What's your trail name?" Because I figured a couple weeks in they would have had a trail name by now. So we met Pace Car and Thoreau and the Paw Print Solo and Hagrid, and there was a list of them in the film. But we met so many fun thru hikers, and they kept asking us, "What are your trail names?" And we would explain it to them. They're like looking at us completely glazed over, like, "Yeah, those are too long." And so we were renamed Onward and Upward that first day. He's like, "How about Onward and Upward?" Because I kept saying Onward, and Rachel's backpack was so high above her head that it was a reference to Upward. At one point in the video, he even called it the 7-Eleven, right? He said, "I'm gonna go to the 7-Eleven and I'm gonna buy some things out of your pack," because he had all the gear. So,
Yeah, I wish he had. Yeah.
It's kind of impressive that the thru hikers were impressed by your gear. I think that's
More like horrified.
fun.
At Top of Georgia, they tried to take away all the things.
Did they?
You're
I was
that
back
guy.
in 5 minutes.
Yeah.
What happened?
Well, he's watching me weigh it, and I'm like just struggling to get it on the scale. And he's like, "Maybe you need a pack shakedown." I was like, "It's too late for that.
Too late.
It's too late for me." But honestly, a lot of it is gear you can't go without. A huge amount of that bulk came from my sleeping bag, and it's, you know, you can't not have a sleeping bag. Now,
You were the only warm person.
What I could have had is had a far more expensive sleeping bag that packs down nice, like into a more nice tight bundle. But I mean, yeah, you need warm gear for when you're in cold weather. The other thing I had that people would probably consider a luxury item was a bear canister. Bear canisters are not required on the Appalachian Trail yet, except for like a 7-mile section in Georgia that we'd already been through the year before. But I discovered that I, one, have zero desire to throw a bear bag. I don't particularly have a good skill set for throwing a bear bag. And I was really, really mad when the bear bags I did throw had mice eat through them. So I made the executive decision.
Well, those are bear cables too. They climb down the cable.
Oh yeah, no.
They climb down
this is the report I should
bear
clarify.
cables.
Yeah, they didn't get my bear bag when I like threw it and it was crap. They got a 40-foot in the air bear cable hung bear bag and gnawed through it. So I made the decision to go with the bear canister, mostly to fight the mini bears, the mice, the raccoons, the squirrels, but but that's an extra 2 pounds and a huge amount of volume that you cannot compress. Like, it's a set cylindrical object that takes up a bunch of space in your pack, and you just have to work around it. So again, this hike was a really big learning experience in that, like, now I have plans for how do I fix this for our summer hike. So.
And you might think that she sounds crazy, but I am convinced that I am now getting one also. So we're both crazy.
I have convinced her to be crazy with me.
Although I'm getting a smaller one, but
it's perfect because misery loves company.
Misery loves company. So one of the most poignant moments for me on the trail was when we met a hiker who goes by the trail named Luke Walker, or Leukemia Walker, and he is a terminally ill cancer patient, and so he has gone on several hikes, but he is trying to hike as far as he can on the Appalachian Trail day by day. You know a little bit more about his hiking that he did out west.
Well, when we were talking to him, we met him we met him the night before when we came into Muskrat Shelter, but we didn't really speak with him until the next morning over breakfast after most of the hikers had already rolled out, because me are late risers and don't like mornings.
He was the person who helped us get the flaming stove out of the shelter onto the ground, but we didn't know who he was until really the next day.
So I guess he was diagnosed a couple years ago, and when he received that diagnosis, he realized he was terminal. He made the decision that he was going to hike and see as much of the beautiful country as he could. So he did a couple of hikes out west. He did some hiking in the Sierra Nevadas and some other trails, and then one of his friends recommended, oh, why don't you try the Appalachian Trail? But he's taking it a day at a time. If he has to, especially because of weather, he doesn't want to get pneumonia or get sick. He'll take a 0 at a shelter and he'll just hang out there. And so since we knew we were going to be getting off trail, we donated some food.
Oh, we gave him good stuff. We
tried
gave him
to lighten the load a little bit.
Things that we had. We gave him cheesecake. We gave him a couple coffees for a few days.
Yeah.
He was so excited to have coffee with creamer because you had creamer.
I did.
And we gave him like those Good Belly lunch bars that have 600 calories in them.
Dry fruit,
like,
just good snacks and some fun things.
Yeah.
Since he was going to be spending more time on trail without going to
And
the
since
supply.
collectively we were carrying an extra 20 pounds of food we wouldn't need. I had 11, he had like 10,
I didn't want to weigh it.
So we carried a lot of extra weight, not knowing we were only going to do 1 in, 1 out. That was a bailout, obviously, that we hadn't planned on.
Yeah. So, but he had such a great spirit and such a wonderful attitude about life and about just how he wanted to live what remaining life he had. And so he has his own blog, you know the URL.
So his blog is called The Mountains That Remain, and his motto is to try to hike as many of the mountains that remain as he can. And so one of his doctors said, you won't make it more than 2 weeks on the trail, and his young female doctor said, go for it, just go for it, what you have to lose. And so he's currently on day 34 as of a month out from our hike.
Well, and that's what's been updated. His trail blog is actually usually
a week
behind because somebody's helping him update it with pictures and stories.
We contacted him and asked him if we could get something to bring with us on our section hikes as we move north in his honor.
But just
remember him.
Really, really cool person, really moving story, and something that just makes you think. And
his appreciation for life and for being on the trail. And so it was just, that was probably the most meaningful conversation that we had during this short section that we did, although we met a lot of really cool people. And I mean, you've seen the footage where we talk about Jimmy, the guy who gave us our trail ride, but he was just such a fun person, so much life that he's lived, and
we're gonna book him for 3 shuttle rides this summer. We've already we talked earlier today. We're teachers. We were on the whiteboard with the markers. We need to get from here to here. Jimmy, need to get from here to here. Jimmy.
I mean,
so
this is the kind of
hopefully
person
we'll see him again this summer.
Who showed up to pick us up. I mean, we're paying for a shuttle ride service, and he shows up and he has fresh fruit in the car for us.
And then the next day when we ran into him on the fly, he's like, "Ladies, here's some more fruit."
I mean, he's handing us oranges. Like,
I'm gonna bring him a case.
Oh, it was the best thing
Remind me to
ever.
get a case.
So fun.
Oranges.
So amazing. And we met a lot of really awesome thru hikers. Like, it was a really positive experience to see how many people and how different people are when they're hiking and what their goals are. I mean, everybody was really upbeat despite the fact that it was raining pretty much non-stop, and it was cold, and there was bad weather had just come through, more bad weather was coming, but everybody was just excited to be out there. So not sure that we really were very successful this trip, but I feel like in all we learned so much about, in terms of like what gear we want, what gear we don't want, what works, what doesn't. Obviously gonna keep bringing hot hands when we go in cold weather. We are gonna order 5 bags. I really enjoyed the day hike that we did coming onto Siler Bald, where we slack packed and we had lighter packs and we got great views. That for me was the reward of having suffered the first night. And even though we only did 3 days of hiking, it was a full adventure. I feel like we had 3 solid adventure days. You can plan and plan and plan. As soon as you get there, nothing goes to plan. And you don't know, you can read a trail, you can look at the GPS, you can look at what people have put up for pictures and read what they've written on gut hooks, but until you get there, your mind has no idea of what the trail will open to you. So to have the video that we do of that section that I can watch over and over and over again as we wait and we count down 65 more days until our summer hike, it's just like a wonderful little keepsake to have, which is the whole reason I'm vlogging in the first place. I just think the value that we got from testing out all that gear, you learn so much every single time you go out, and so you learn about like what works, what doesn't, what do you love, what do you hate, and then if we ever do a thru hike, we should have our gear dialed down eventually. It should be epically prepared to start. So I'm really looking forward to this summer. We're both going to make even more changes. I mean, yeah, the scientist in me cringes at how many things we change, because you shouldn't change that many variables all at once, because then you don't know which thing is the thing that broke you or that's awesome. But we know it's the bear canister. It's like at least 2 pounds. So. But like I'm gonna switch out my tent for a hammock. I really want to try hammock camping. I've slept in a hammock before on an overnight trip, and I know I enjoy that far more than I like sleeping on the ground. I'm switching out my solo tent for a double, single wall double tent with Big Agnes. So in case Rachel's system fails, she has a backup plan. She can hop in with me, just like I did. I crawled in with you. Hey. That was actually a funny story. Went right before bed and I'm freezing and I had just finished making that video and I'm like, oh God, please let her be awake. And I'm like, Rachel. No. The best is that like I am almost asleep and all I hear is Rachel. Rachel. Because there's people everywhere and there's a guy hammocking not 30 feet from us. You can hear it snoring. So thankfully I was like, no, he's still asleep. But and I'm a polite person. I wouldn't have done that unless I was dying. Oh, I forgot to talk about how I almost died. But she was so cold, and I was like, well, are you wearing all your clothes? And she had all her clothes on except for her rain gear, and I think eventually the rain gear helped. It went on. But, as soon as I put the rain gear on over all my layers, I felt warmth, which I hadn't felt all night. The precursor to me crawling into Rachel's tent uninvited was the fact that
I was like pre-hypothermic. So like my body was shaking so badly for like long periods of time that the only thing that would alleviate that was like if I went to the bathroom and then I came back because your blood is trying to heat your bladder. And that would last 10 minutes and I would be shaking again because my bag was only rated down at 35 degrees, but if you get a bag, the rating of 35 degrees means survival, it doesn't mean comfort. So in a 40 degree scenario, which is probably what we had that night, it was like around 40 degrees, I would have needed a 20 degree bag to be warm as a woman, and I had a 35 degree bag. So I was like my core temperature dropped. And I was so cold that when Rachel handed me the hot hands, I couldn't feel them. So I couldn't feel the heat from the hot hands for about 3 minutes. My hands were so numb. I couldn't feel it at all. And then when I finally felt it, it was like burning. But it took a while for that to even settle. And I had my hat on and all those things that you saw, and I was just shaking. And the only thing that warmed me up was putting my plastic rain gear on top of everything, and then just nestling down.
I think that stayed with you, that chill, because like the whole next day, she was wearing like long sleeve shirt, wool hat, wool beanie, like gloves on gloves.
Even though we were doing 5 hours of cardio,
and she was
freezing,
cold the whole day
because of that night.
And so definitely, I mean,
Boston was cold. Y'all, we've done Iceland together. You can go back and watch our Iceland video. We've seen cold weather. I've never felt that cold. I don't know if I've ever felt that cold.
It's you get to a certain point, and I think it's really hard to warm back up until you get like a hot shower and you feel good. Then like it's really hard to come back from that.
Which just goes to show, even if you think you have the right gear, you can be in a dangerous situation without the right gear or the right backup choices. You know, we were lucky that you didn't have your Eureka Solitaire tent, which was been really cozy. It's like a bivvy.
I planned on taking a single, it's like almost like a bivvy. It's almost, I call it my yellow coffin. It's a very bright yellow, narrow, small,
I'll throw up a
single
picture.
person tent.
I'll throw up a picture on that.
And at the last minute, I saw a video about getting like the 2-person single wall tent that was like on
Homemade Wanderlust.
yeah, Homemade Wanderlust, and it was like only $50. I was like, well, $50, I'll try that. And the reason that I wanted to get a single wall tent in the first place, even though I already had a perfectly good single person double wall tent and a double person double wall tent, was that both of my tents, you cannot set them up without first setting up the mesh interior and then the rain fly. And while there are tents that you can do it in the reverse order, mine doesn't allow for that, which means that if it's pouring down rain, I can't set up either of my tents without the interior getting wet before I can manage to get the rain fly on. And so I got a single wall tent actually to try to fix that situation if it were raining when we got to camp. And while it wasn't raining when we got to camp, it turns out that it was a really good thing I had a double person tent because we needed to share body warmth.
Do we have 6 tents together?
I have 3 right now. No, wait, I lie. I have 4.
I have 3.
One of them's only for car camping. That was my very first tent. It's like a Florida tent for car camping.
I have 3 tents, and I'm buying the other one, so we'll have 8. 8 tents.
I'm a little ashamed right now.
And several sleeping bags.
Or other people can come hiking with us.
Other people can come hiking with us. You're gonna come hiking with us.
So
Carry your old heavy gear. Learn for yourselves.
Learn from us.
So that was kind of an overview of our spring break hike, which was shorter than we anticipated.
Yeah.
But we survived. We survived.
We
and
did.
I feel like we added enough mileage that it wasn't embarrassing. It wasn't respectable. It was between embarrassing and respectable. And we will make up for it this summer.
Well, this summer we have so many fun milestones. We should hit our
100.
actual mile 100, even though we skipped ahead of it. And then we'll go to the Nantahala, which is one of my personal favorite places to be in the mountains.
Fontana Dam.
We'll get to Fontana Dam.
We'll
which is
get a
big
couple
mountain
of fire
marker.
towers.
So
Good views.
Some really horrible mountains. I am not happy about standing Indian Mountain.
And I think Mount Arnold.
And there's Wesser Bald. The whatever mountain comes right after the NOC.
Going straight up, yeah, 7 miles. 7 miles
But
straight up.
I mean, it should be like a pretty fun adventure. And knowing us, like you know, like
We always make it an adventure.
We'll set something on fire, or like you know, injure ourselves in some way. Maybe we'll meet bears finally.
So my biggest hope is that Rachel earns her trail name.
She wants
like,
it to be
for
embarrassing
real.
as well.
So we were going with onward and upward, and then I like embarrassingly earned a trail name by a thru hiker. You can't turn that down. I mean, a thru hiking trail name.
I'll probably just
So-
stick with Scout for now until the trail names me.
The trail name you.
Oh, be something.
She's gonna get something awesome, and I'm gonna be stuck with Firestorm because Well, anyway, so we hope you enjoyed our after show, and we will see you at the end of this summer, and we will add our after shows in to catch any little stories that we missed. Okay,
for sure.
you can skip those. You're not required to watch the after show. So special shout out to our fans, Jesse and Tom. Thanks for always commenting on our videos, even when they're really short or boring. Thanks, we appreciate you guys.
Bye.
Bye, guys.